So I'm 98% sure that we have passed our last frost date. There are still some cooler weather nights this week, like down in the lower 40s or something like that. So I'm not putting plants out, but since I'm pretty sure we're not gonna have any more freezing temperatures, I am putting seeds out. So let me show you what I've done today so far. And this is also so I can remember when I'm writing it down in my journal. So I got my box of onion sets a couple weeks ago. I really should have already put them out, but life happens. So I've just kind of been putting them in different places throughout the garden. Number one, because they're small and they're a root ball, and I can just kind of tuck them in different places. The other reason is because they're a deterrent for rabbits. I didn't have rabbits in here last year, but just in case, I like to plant them around things like lettuce and kale for any kind of critter that might get in here. So I interplanted some in here between the carrots. Just kind of whenever there was an open space, I would tuck one in. I tucked a bunch in over here between the kales. I don't want them to be too shaded, but since the kale is still relatively small, I think it'll do fine. I tucked some in over here with these radishes, just right in the front. I have cilantro here, and the radishes I'll pull up here in the next probably week or so. So that'll open up some room. And I do want to tuck flowers in here too, but a slim stem of an onion's really not going to impact that. They're going to be even slimmer and smaller than these garlic stems are. And then I tucked some in over here with all these lettuces and herbs. So again, a good deterrent for bunnies or any sort of critter that might get in here. And they're the Elise Craig onions, which are good for longer summer days. Hang on a second. Longer summer days, but a shorter planting season. So that's why I bought these specific onions, and I got them from Johnny's Seed Company. It took them a while to get here, but if you're still interested, you probably could if you have a longer growing season. And then I just planted my Chinese red noodle beans all along this trellis. I had planted some peas, but a lot of them aren't coming up. So wherever they are coming up, I didn't plant a bean, and I'm just gonna let that pea grow. So I'll have these pea flowers in amongst the beans. But I went ahead and did the red Chinese noodle beans on both sides, and they will hang down, which will be really pretty to walk through. And I may succession plant another type of bean later, either here or on this trellis over here and here. Once these peas kind of start getting higher, I may succession plant some of my other beans, pole beans in here. But for now, I'm just doing the red noodle beans. I also went ahead and planted several varieties of cucumbers. This is my strawberry patch, but by the time the cucumbers would grow big enough to shade them, they will be done fruiting. So I did some cucumbers that I did last year. I did the Armenian cucumber, which is actually a melon, and it was really yummy. Loved this Armenian cucumber. I did those in here, and then I did the Boothie's Blonde, which we also really liked. I did some plants in here. And then on the other side is where I put my newer cucumber plants. I got a lemon cucumber, which is a smaller plant, and I did a couple here, and I may actually put one or two over there. We'll see what I have room for. But I did the lemon cucumbers here, and then on this side of it, I did the market cucumber, which is kind of like your standard. I'm trying to get it out of my pocket. The market more cucumber, which is kind of more your standard cucumber. So this is like the only really standard cucumber out of the bunch, and I did a couple plants in here. I actually put a couple seeds per spot in case one didn't germinate, and I spaced them about 2.5, 3 feet. So I did a plant here, a plant here, a plant there, and a plant there. And I can always prune them if I feel like they're getting too heavy and not letting air get through, but I think they'll be fine. Either way, I just wanted to make sure I had cucumber plants planted, you know, so that I at least get something from it. Potatoes are really starting to come in. So I'm gonna have to start collecting dirt and hay to start mounding those. And last week I planted some sunflowers back here. So I think down the way there, I saw some starting to sprout. Yeah, there's one starting to sprout right there. So those will come in, sprout. Yep, there's one over there too. So those will start coming in. I planted them, I think, all the way back through here, all so that they will be the backdrop to the potatoes and this really cool trellis. This is where my tomato wall will be, and I plan on planting those out here in the next few days once the evening temperatures get above 45. And there's all this volunteer borage in here, which I've shown you before. I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. Some radish that I just kind of randomly planted. Moving into the circular garden, I've got peas that are finally really starting to come in along here. And I only planted them to about here, if I remember correctly, just this spot right here, because that's what I had left over, because I want to do squash up in this space. So I haven't really planted anything here except for these rhubarb, these herbs, some yarrow, and I'm going to fill in this front place with some either annual flowers or smaller varieties of perennials, like some little mini marigolds, zinnias, and calendula that I purchased. And then I did put some sunflowers back in here, and I also planted some bachelor buttons kind of sporadically. And then I'm going to come out here and do cosmos as well. So, and zinnias. I kind of just decided to make this more flowers. And if I want to tuck in a squash plant, I can, just for foliage on the bottom, which I think will be kind of cool looking. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm going to just kind of sporadically put flowers depending on their height, sunflowers, bachelor buttons, cosmos, and then some zinnias, and then maybe just tuck in a squash plant or something like that back here in the back. Okay, so I have planted these scallop blend squashes, which I'm really excited about, here and here. And then I planted the Vert et Blanc, the Panache Vert et Blanc. I planted one here and here, and I think I'm going to try to trellis a melon up this. So I may try to trellis these up here just a little bit. But if they're growing this way, then I can put a melon here and hopefully it won't collide too much. And then over here, I did the Costata Romanesco squash, which is supposed to be known for its squash blossoms. I put those back in here. At first I put the seeds here, and then I remembered how much they're going to grow into my path. So I moved them back a bit. And I do plan on trimming some of these branches up here to bring the sun in. So I put one there and one there, and then I put some golden zucchini here and here. So those will be really nice foliage on the bottom, and the flowers will kind of grow around them. And I'm going to try to leave kind of a path open here to be able to get in there and access all of that. So hopefully they'll just kind of grow together, and I won't have to trample too much in here to do anything else. I have been working steadily to dig up this very established honeysuckle bush. I don't know if you can see it in the grass there. It was like 7 feet tall last summer, and I cut it all the way back, and I've just been slowly digging around the roots. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's probably about 2 feet down. And I found this huge concrete thing in there that was for a post that we got out. So now I'm gonna be filling all this back in with dirt, and hopefully grass will begin to grow again. But oh man, I got it out and now I'm transplanting it. Hello, they always come to greet me when I come outside. Hello everyone, what's going on? I know I haven't seen you today, have I? It's a new day. I realized I never came back out and showed you what I finished in this garden, so I thought I'd do that real quick. Yes, I know. Let's go show them. This is what they do. They all went in the garden, but they can't come in. I know. I'm sorry. So I thought I would just show you quickly that I got these really sweet flowers from my son. He bought them for me for Mother's Day. So that's what I ended up putting in this little round spot over here, which I thought was really sweet. And then I also, so those will fill in. It's actually a red salvia and a miniature snapdragon. And then I had purchased some hollyhocks. So I decided to put the hollyhocks back here to grow on these posts. And I actually transplanted one from the front yard. It may or may not make it. I need to come out here and water it again because it lost some of its roots, but it might pull through. If not, I'm just gonna go buy another one. And then I helped a friend recently split a bunch of daisies that she planted from seed. And I think she ended up having like 267 plants. So she brought me like 15 of these little daisy plants, little seedlings. And so I have actually put them all in this front of this pepper bed. And then I'm gonna plant the peppers behind them. So I'm really liking this bed because it's gonna have a mixture of vegetables and flowers, which I think is gonna be really cool. So we'll have some white daisies here, peppers behind them, which I plan on planting about, I think I figured 16 pepper plants in this space and 24 tomatoes here. And then I have a couple eggplants and an artichoke that I'm gonna put in here as well. So it's gonna be a full garden, girls and boys. I also wanted to show you where I transplanted the honeysuckle bush to. This is gonna be the new chicken run. And I'm trying to get some plants in it so it's not completely bare. So I've got miscanthus grass in there, and I transplanted this honeysuckle, which it's doing fine. And I'm gonna probably put some more vining plants down there on that fence. And of course they'll have the peas and the sunflowers here. So it won't be completely bare, but that transplanted perfectly. So that is good to know. Look at these peas just taking off, finally. Can't believe how long they took really to come in, but that happened last year too. I remember getting impatient, and then I ended up planting double the peas. So you just have to be patient sometimes. And then all my brassicas are really looking good and really coming in. So we may actually get some of these guys before the weather gets too hot. And of course, this group of radishes, they are really starting to form their heads. This is a pretty purple one. This was an Easter egg mix, I'm pretty sure, because I've had some pinks, and there's a purple one. They'll be ready here probably any day now. And we harvested a really yummy pink one out of here, and I'm just kind of leaving them alone a little bit. When these leaves get taller is when I'll harvest them, but they are starting to take shape, and that's really exciting.